Thornhill, sexuality educator. Today, I'm coming at you with a book review. Sex is a Funny Word by educator Cory Silverberg. If Cory's name is familiar to you, you may know his first book, What Makes a Baby. This book is for young kids to help them understand how babies are conceived and how they come into the world. This book was a huge hit. It was really popular. It's one of my favorites for little kids, and I'll review it at some point. But I want to talk today about Sex is a Funny Word because this is, like, hands down my favorite book for kids about sex to date. One of the reasons I love this book is because it is specifically aimed at sort of tweens. So kids who are not little, but kids who haven't yet hit puberty. And something I find that happens sometimes with kids in that age range is that the conversation around sexuality sometimes will stop because they're old enough that you've probably already had the conversation about, where babies come from and, what's going on with their bodies and their genitals, etc. But we often assume, and it's true, that they aren't quite at the point of needing to know about things like sexually transmitted infections or contraception or things that you need to start knowing when you're thinking about becoming sexually active with a partner. And so the assumption is that, oh, well, sex is just, or not sex, but sexuality just isn't a part of their lives in that sort of in-between space of childhood. But the reality is that for children, for older children who aren't yet, they're not yet in puberty, they often still have questions and curiosity, and they're definitely noticing different aspects of sexuality because they still exist in the world. And in fact, because they're older than, little kids who are just, where do babies come from? They're noticing things like the messages that come through in pop culture, like in television and online and through songs. And, there are all kinds of interactions that are happening for them socially. These are all kids who are in school. And so they may be noticing that there are expectations in terms of, their gender roles, their gender presentation, how they interact with people of different genders. And even for some children, this is an age where they might start having sort of some clues and yeah, I guess I would say clues and cues about things like their sexual orientation or their gender identity, particularly if it's something different or other than being cisgender or straight. So this is a great book because it addresses all of these questions and these things that older kids may be grappling with and starting to sort out and observe in a way that is really super age appropriate, that it's really inclusive. I think a child of almost, any gender, any family situation, any ethnicity could look at a book like this and can relate to some aspect of it. I believe there's 6 chapters. Okay, let me check. This is the table of contents. Like, how colorful and beautiful is that? So the table of contents there's an introduction and a welcome for your kid to sort of orient them to what the book's about. There's what is sex, learning about bodies, boys, girls, all of us, so that's about gender, touch, talking about sex, crushes, love, and relationships. One of the many things I appreciate about Cory Silverberg as an educator, not only is he, incredibly bright and very knowledgeable, knows his stuff, Cory Silverberg is a children's author who tells the truth. Yeah, in the beginning of the book, there's this great page where, book Cory is talking to this classroom's full of students, and they're talking about, what comes to mind when you, hear the word sex, and how does it make us feel, and how do we react, and what does it mean, and, all of these, book kids are yelling out different things, and just, right off the bat, giving kids that permission to, feel a little funny and awkward about sex, and giving them permission to say the different words they know about sex, like boobs, and just yell them out, I think is very, very liberating and freeing, and can give kids a sense that this is a safe book, and this is a book that isn't going to judge them for who they are, what they're thinking, or what they are curious about. This is totally indicative of what the illustrations in the book are like. They're done by Fiona Smyth, who's a brilliant, brilliant artist. And as you can see, this book also just visually really conveys a sense of fun, of liveliness, of joy. 4 different characters here, and they represent a range of genders, and because of the way colors are used in this book, they can represent, you know, different ethnicities, different ethnic groups. They have, you know, different facial features, even different, you know, different abilities and different types of bodies, which I think is really, really great to see. The diversity in this book is absolutely fantastic. I literally had to buy extra copies because when my first copy came, my kid got a hold of it and refused to give it back to me. He thumbs through this all the time. And it's one of those books, like, you don't have to read it cover to cover. Your kid can sit down with it and read, you know, the different sections, and we'll pick up different things at different times when they're ready for it, which is fantastic. Even as an adult, and even as a sex educator, I learned so much from this book. I picked up so much great language that I can use, you know, with my kid, and that I can pass along, you know, to clients that I'm working with. And I also realized that there were a few subjects that were covered in this book where I was like, I actually never thought to have that conversation with my kid, but it's actually really important. Like, there's a part in this book where they talk about, you know, what does sexy mean? And yeah, that is a word that, you know, 8, 9, 10-year-old kids hear because, you know, it's in music, it's on TV, but it's kind of like this vague concept. Like, what is it? It's not, you know, having sex. What does it mean? So there's like conversations like that in this book, and it covers things like that. It's so fantastic. Big fans of Cory Silverberg and Sex is a Funny Word here in our family and in my work. Like I said, my son has a copy of the book. I have a copy of the book, and I want to give you a copy of the book because I just really appreciate you supporting me and watching my videos, and for those of you who have subscribed and shared stuff, like, it's just been super amazing. So yes, I'm going to give away a copy of the book, and I am going to tell you how you can be eligible to get it. If you are subscribed, you are entered in the giveaway. If you are not subscribed, then go ahead and do that, and you will get an entry. You can leave me a comment down below. You can like this video, or you can share this video on Facebook or Twitter. The giveaway will be open for the next week, the next 7 days, and I will repost the ways you can enter down in the description box below. I'm also going to post down there a link to an interview that Cory Silverberg did about this book on CBC, because it's just great to hear about the book in his own words. That's it. I hope you all have a chance to enter, and good luck, and I can't wait to give this to one of you. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you soon. Bye. It really wasn't until I think it was like a couple of years later it cropped up somewhere, and I suddenly realized, like, oh no, I regret writing this.